Stay tuned and let's take a look at this Marvel Legends Deadpool 2-pack with Deadpool and Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Pow and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. Today we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends Deadpool 2-pack with Deadpool and Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Now it is still crazy to me that we're actually getting a Fox Universe Deadpool, a Ryan Reynolds Deadpool in official Marvel Legends form. Very happy about it. I know a few people are disappointed that he came in a 2-pack with probably the least sought after character from the movie, but again, it's the toy business people. Hasbro know what they're doing. But I would have brought both anyway. I like having full collections from these movies, and yeah, really happy to be seeing Deadpool get some love. I hope we see more Deadpool films in the future, but if not, at least I can cross over my MCU figures with my Deadpool figures, so that will do me. So in the box, we're getting plenty of interchangeable hands, weapons. We're even getting a little unicorn accessory, but I won't go into too much detail while that's there. Negasonic Teenage Warhead comes with some interchangeable hands and some effect pieces as well, but this is looking very nice. Deadpool's got his filthy mitts to that X-Men packaging as he's turned it red. He's put a Deadpool logo and he's crossed out their real names and written Deadpool and Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Even we've got the +14 there as well. Top of the box is the same. On the back, we get no wave association, no promo pics of the figures, just these nice silhouettes, which I'm very happy with. It looks smart, it looks good, no complaints from me. So without further ado, let's get these figures open. So here they are out the box with all of their accessories on the table, and as you can see, Deadpool comes with so much more compared to Negasonic Teenage Warhead. So let's take a look at these one by one, but first impressions are this is undoubtedly movie Deadpool. Very impressed with the sculpt and articulation they've got out of this. You can put this amongst your Deadpools on your shelf and people will spot that this is the movie Deadpool straight away. Loving it so far. Let's get a closer look. Here's our close-up of the Ryan Reynolds movie Deadpool, and come on now, that is clearly spot on. It looks like Ryan Reynolds is actually under this little mask. It is spot on. Bravo Hasbro. Loving that. I love the textured detail on the plastic and all these sculpted lines as well. Very, very nice. And this whole body is sculpted in a way where you can see the texture. And look at those bullet holes on the figure. You can see scratch marks. This harness piece is separate, so it's attached to the belt, and that's very accurate to the film as well. Around the back, so it's got that leathery look to it. There is sheath for his two swords that we can check out in a minute. And again, all the details are spot on. So the belt's there with the Deadpool logo. And you can see these harnesses with these guns in. Now, these are a controversial point because they're actual sculpted guns, but they're glued into the harness. So a lot of people have been taking these out, but actually breaking the guns as they do so. So a few people have put up tutorials online of how to take these guns out without breaking them. I'm not going to try it on this review, but I do plan on getting these out of the holsters, but I'll probably have to watch someone else's tutorial to do it properly. You've got to heat it up and then be very careful that you don't break the triggers essentially. But just the sculpted details on this figure are really, really good. Again, that texture all the way down like it's made out of some sort of leather. There's the shin, the boots, and there's so much articulation on this as well. There's a sheath for the little knife. Again, it looks like it is jumped straight out of the movie. There is the second gun. And yeah, this is spot on. Really liking this a lot. And as I said, he comes with tons of accessories as well. So he comes packed with just a gestured hand and then a fisted hand. And you'll notice that this set of hands are just black. They don't have any silver on. Now, some of the hands have silver on. And that is because the silver is accurate to Deadpool 2. And then the black gloves are accurate to Deadpool 1. MCU Collector pointed that out as well, and he is spot on. So you get, basically, this is how he comes packed, but he does come with a set of fisted black gloves so he can punch the bad guys. Of course, he comes with a set of trigger fingers, and you'll notice that these gloves actually have the silver on. So these are the Deadpool 2 gloves. So he has 2 trigger fingers, so we need 2 guns. So there he comes with two guns, but as I said, he comes with those guns actually sculpted in the holsters as well. So some people think it looks a bit silly, him having two holstered guns and holding two guns. Now I don't think it looks bad because Deadpool is known for carrying lots of weaponry in creative places and spots. He has all these pouches and equipment. So I think him carrying two guns and having two guns holstered isn't a bad look at all. But the guns in the holsters look better than these guns here. These are just some simple pistols of some sort, but they look a little bit more space age than these sort of pistols in the holsters. So maybe you can mix and match if you can get those holsters out. But still, I don't think the two guns and two holstered guns is a bad look. But I like that he has trigger fingers. Of course, it's Deadpool. We need them. And yeah, you can get this guy posed up looking great. He also comes with a pair of gripping hands, and these gloves have the silver on the background. So what does he need to grip, you ask? His swords, of course, or his katanas, or whatever you want to call them. So these are perfectly sculpted for Deadpool, and they are different to other Marvel Legends weapons. So there's a previous Marvel Legends sword from a Deadpool, and here we have the new movie Deadpool. So obviously they've downgraded a little bit, but that's comic to movie for you. So the movie ones are a lot thinner and smaller, but they fit perfectly in Deadpool's hands. As you can see, he has two hands perfectly for them. So you can get him posed up like that, looking good. And as I said, on the back, he has this sheath holder, which is actually attached to the back. It's not... doesn't unpeg, it's actually glued there, so you can store his weapons. So I really like that about Deadpool. He carries everything on him, and there you go. So now you can store his swords on the back of him, bring him around to the front, and you can see him poking over the shoulders, which is a great look for Deadpool. He also comes with this tiny little knife, which will fit perfectly into this sheath on his sort of shin. So that goes in there, not a problem, nice and snug, so he can store all his weapons. And while we're here, I just wanted to show you the pinless technology on the arms, because I haven't really showed that off much. But as you can see, no pins at all on either side, and the articulation is really good. Look at this double joint there. Look at this double joint. Really, really good. Bend is so nice, and no pins. There are pins on the leg though, so maybe they're just trying it out with this Deadpool, but gives you a great range. Perfect for holding his last accessory, which is this little unicorn. So we're not going to go into details about what he does with this unicorn, but he does like unicorns, and this is a fun little packing. So it's just an all-white one-piece unicorn. You can see the little eyes and the little horn there, and yeah, Deadpool definitely has a unicorn fetish, and he can hold that no problem. But as you can see, you probably can't see my white background, but it's just one solid piece. Looks sweet. And a fun little pack-in. So I've briefly mentioned it, but since it's a new figure, let's go over articulation. So the head will look down, he will look up. There is some pivot in there as well, so you can get some expression out of Deadpool's head, which is pretty good for a Deadpool character. Arms will go all the way up. The double joint on the elbows is so nice. You can get him chilling and relaxing. Look at that. And there is a butterfly joint there as well, so you can get some movement back and forward. The ab crunch won't work backwards because the sword holders obstruct it here, but you can get him leaning forward a decent bit as well. Legs go out that much. The double jointed knees won't kick his own ass, but there is a swivel at the thigh. And is there one at the boot cut? No, there isn't. There's none at the boot cut, but there is a decent ankle pivot and of course a hinge on the ankle as well. And there's a decent hinge as well on all of the wrists. The gun trigger fingers hands actually go up and down, but the rest go side and side. So you're going to be able to get this guy in all the poses you want to. It's basically standard Marvel Legends articulation, but with a little bit more, which works for this character. So you can get him in some expressive poses. And I wanted to mention that all the joints are tight, the figure feels good, but the right hand is a little bit too loose. I don't know what it's been up to, but I don't like how loose this is. So that's the only bit that's bugging me. Otherwise, great figure. Moving on to Negasonic Teenage Warhead, and I do like this figure. I think the likeness to the actress is very nice, especially from certain angles. You can see her earring there on that side. She has a stud, I think, on that side. The hairstyle is very accurate. The face is quite a bland expression, which is perfect for this character. She's quite grumpy throughout the films. You can see the X logo is sculpted there. She's got a bit of sculpting on the shoulder with some gunmetal grey, and that goes down onto the same for the studs on the belt. The belt looks a little bit off-centre, but I do think that is the design of the character. The yellows are quite clean. Obviously, it's one of those designs where if you move her in the articulation, it's going to look a bit dodgy, but if you line it up, it looks good. And yeah, the rest of the figure's just all black all the way down to the toes. A bit of yellow seeps through on the back, but it's a very simple character design, but it works for this character very much like it. Now, it's on a female Marvel Legend, so you know when it comes to articulation, you're only going to get those single jointed elbows, unfortunately, but she is on a sort of diaphragm hinge, which works a little bit. So you're going to be able to get them in some decent poses. Now, she comes with 2 fisted hands and 2 open palm hands, a little bit more expressive, these ones, and that is because you also get some effects to display her abilities. And we've seen these effect pieces before with Scarlet Witch and whatnot, and they look decent. They do display her abilities to a certain extent. I like actually hooking the thumb in the gap there, so when they're on display, they don't fall out as easy. And it does spruce up the display a little bit. I do, when you have the opportunity to display a character with their abilities, it's always nice. And this one is definitely a case where you can do that. So yeah, there's Negasonic Teenage Warhead, and I do think she looks great. So there we have both figures, and again, obviously Deadpool is the main attraction of this 2-pack, but Negasonic is always having nice new characters in the display, and they're going to look very nice as a foursome on the shelf. So let's bring in the others. So here we have all the Deadpool figures together. So Cable, Deadpool, Domino, Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Crazy that we're actually getting figures from the Deadpool franchise, and I'm very happy to add these to the collection, and these will look great together on the display. Now, my mind's eye version of Cable should be a little bit taller, but who am I? The scale's probably spot on without looking up heights and whatnot. But yeah, Deadpool looks great, Cable looks great, Domino looks great, and even Negasonic Teenage Warhead does. So no complaints from me. These are going to look great on the display. Now I just need to find them a spot. Here we have our movie Deadpool compared to 2 comic versions of Deadpool, and I do think the movie version is a great amalgamation of both of these Deadpool styles. We have the more modern, fourth wall breaking, quirky Deadpool here, and then on this side you've got the Merc with a mouth, the old school assassin style Deadpool, and this movie one sort of blends those two together and brings it into the real world with this costume, and I do think it looks great. No complaints from me. It's crazy that a few years ago people were clamoring over that epic Heroes Deadpool Marvel Legend, and now we have all these options. We are spoiled for choice. And even though it's a movie figure, I do think it's one of those unique circumstances where you can blend the character design into your comic display. Like, if you've got this in your display, it's undeniably Deadpool, and it doesn't look too crazily real-worldish compared to these comic characters. If that makes sense, I do think you could make this work if you preferred this as your ultimate Deadpool. And just for a straight up comic versus movie comparison, here we have Cable, Deadpool and Domino in both their comic form and their movie form. Always good seeing how that transfers over to the real world. And finally, here we have Hellfire Hank compared to Deadpool and Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Final thoughts, this is a great 2-pack. Let's be honest, the main attraction is of course Deadpool, but it is nice to add another new character to the display as well with Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Yeah, crazy that we've actually got Deadpool figures. This is a very accurate figure to the movie. That's the advantage of getting figures so late after the original movie came out. And as I said, you have so many interchangeable parts. This could be a Deadpool 1 or a Deadpool 2 figure. It doesn't matter. Plenty to mix and match for your display. And yeah, just have fun with this one. It would have been really good to get a couple of other interchangeable heads, maybe one where he's got the scars and then one before he got the scars, just to mix it up a little bit. But again, I guess that's a licensing issue with Ryan Reynolds, but maybe he can get on board. He seems like the type of guy that will. But overall, very happy with this 2-pack, and I'm sure you will be as well, especially if you've got the complementary Cable and Domino to go with them. The 4 of them together look very nice. So you let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, are you happy to finally have a movie Deadpool, and did it live up to the expectation? Let me know in the comments below. But as always, you want to support the channel, want to help it grow, then you know what to do. Please hit that subscribe button, and if you are in a position to support the channel, you can on Patreon. Links in the description below. But until then, people, my name is Dan W, and I will of course see you on the next one.